What is up, Guardians? It's Macabre. We're back with another Destiny 2 video. I know Lightfall dropped, and I barely did any content except for streaming a bunch over on my Twitch, which, by the way, if you haven't, head on over there, follow me. We're going to be grinding Root of Nightmares tomorrow when it drops. We're going for day one completion. We're trying to be a little bit competitive. We'll wait and see what ends up happening, but I'm very excited for that, so come join me over on Twitch. Anyways, I thought I'd make another day one loadout recommendation, weapons, loadouts to use, what's going to be meta, what's not, and you know, there's a lot of videos out there, and there's a lot of other YouTubers that have done phenomenal videos. I feel like mine's kind of taking a little bit from some of theirs, just because mine is out after theirs. However, these are the things that me and my team are going to be planning on using in the day one raid, and if you like anything you see on here or you'd like more details on a build, please let me know and I would be happy to oblige. Let's start off with Warlock, the best class. We all know it, we love it. I'm going to be giving ad clear builds and damage builds. Not going to display all the builds on screen. I'll display a couple of the Warlock ones just because those are definitely put together and very well done. I don't spend a ton of time on Hunter and Titan and don't intend on using either of those classes in the day one raid, so the builds that I already have are very mediocre at best with the new mod system, and I haven't taken the time to make them better yet. But if you'd like to see an individual or standalone video of them in the future, let me know. Let's start with ad clear. I have two builds for Warlock ad clear. Void, using nothing manacles and scatter grenades. You are going to be throwing them all the time, and it is incredible. You're going to be generating a lot of orbs, and you're going to have volatile thanks to the artifact mod. So abuse void weapons, whether it is, you know, double special and you're running a void trace rifle or void wave frame, void fusion, whatever it may be, works very, very well. Heavy works as well, and it can be adjusted on the fly. So let's say it's a very dense boss damage encounter, right? So you can use this despite not being unwell and clear ads very easily with it and still have okay damage, and you can use whatever heavy you need to throughout. Strand. This is an infinite suspend build. I know a lot of things have since come and gone, despite this build more or less being one of the second builds that Warlocks found. But Osteostriga, Necrotic Grips, you consume your grenades, you get kills, everything's suspended, and then you repeat. I love it. It's a blast. I heard there's some stuff going on with glaives with incandescent and whatever the volatile round perk is. I don't know if I'm going to be using those, so I'm sticking with this. You can use other weapons, but I think Osteo is definitely the best for this. Damage. Starfire Protocol, Wither Horde, or Osteostriga. One Wither Horde only for damage phases, and Warlocks, you need to be that Wither Horde user. If other people would like to use Wither Horde, that's great, that's fantastic. Let your teammates do that, but tell them they're not allowed to shoot the boss with it. That's the big thing. They cannot. Only the Starfire Protocol Warlock should be using Wither Horde or Osteostriga. Infrared grenades, and it deals crazy amount of damage. Demo with chill clip, that's what I am personally going to be running, but demo lasting impression, demo explosive light rockets also do phenomenal damage. And any energy weapon can be used, which is phenomenal. You know, you want to run double special, this works super well. Run that forbearance. Or if you want a demo weapon or some sort of SMG, you know, go ahead and do that too. Moving on to Hunter next. Ad clear, I'm going with Gerfalcons all day long. I know we have an artifact mod for volatile rounds, but Gerfalcons just gives it to you on a whole nother level, and it works really, really well. The new exotic machine gun pairs pretty nicely with this, but me personally, I'm probably just going to stick with a Void SMG or a Void auto rifle, but this works really, really well. Personally, I'm going to go Deadfall because I think that gives you the most bang for your buck. Moving on to damage, we just found out in the TWAB today, or hot patch notes, hotfix stuff, that Strand was dealing more damage than intended, double about. It's still going to deal pretty good damage, so I think I'm going to keep the Strand Hunter subclass on here as a damage option, and then you can use your Suspend to get to that. And unless it's disabled between now and the raid release tomorrow, I think this is going to be phenomenal. The other one, however, is Arc, and both of these builds use Star Eaters, so you're using them again. But the nice thing is you can use any weapons with this. The downside is only one Arc Hunter really should be using this, because two of them, Jolt only works with one, and it's a whole bunch of BS, so the damage you're getting out of it isn't as good as it possibly could be. But I think nonetheless, if Strand is disabled for whatever reason, Arc is definitely what I'm falling back onto as a hunter. Moving on to Titan, Ad Clear, Solar, all day long. Synthos plus Bonk. There's thousands of builds out on YouTube right now. You can use that silly little Solar exotic helmet if you need to. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Synthos. I love Synthos all day long. But if I'm in an encounter where I need to be a little more brain dead and don't have the time to run around and constantly refresh Bonk and get healing, then yeah, I'm going to slap on Morales. Glaives work really well with this, which is also a nice thing. Perhaps Winter Bite won't be disabled for the raid, and that'll be something that I would imagine a lot of Titans will be using. But the nice thing is, you can use whatever weapons you would like in this. For boss damage, there's really two. First is Void Titans using their banner shields. Both with the lack of wells and the damage buffs it gives, it's just too good. As well as overshields in general, kind of got this huge buff this season. So glaives work really well, melee based stuff works really well. Highly recommend giving a Void Titan a try. The other one I'm going to switch to, and this might be kind of a hot swap kind of deal, is I'm running Hoyle on Arc to get to a damage phase and then switching to Fallen Star. Curse is just too good, and honestly, I know it's not as good as what it once was, with the Hunter Supers now kind of being crazy OP, but it's still pretty solid, and for those tankier targets, Thunder Crash is the way to go. So definitely a build that I would consider using. Moving on to some weapons that I highly recommend, we'll start with primary ammo based weapons. Exotics, Osteostrigger is a must. It is the best SMG in the game, and anyone who tells you otherwise is just wrong. I'm sorry. It works really, really well on Warlock specifically, but I love it on all three classes. Outbreak or Touch of Malice. Outbreak is definitely the king if all 6 people on your team are using it. Touch of Malice is very good, however, and does require a well, so keep that in mind. Quicksilver and Revision Zero, these are just 2 options I threw out there. Quicksilver plays into Strand really well, so maybe look into that. Revision Zero, with the anti-barrier capabilities it has, as well as the fact that its sniper is pretty solid for damage, both of which, you know, maybe you throw on if no one wants to run Outbreak or you don't have Touch of Malice, you know, whatever it may be. And then the last one I have is Collective Obligation, as this works super, super well with our Void builds, both on Titan, Warlock, and Hunter. Believe it or not, yes, we have one of each, and they're there for a reason. It works really, really well, and it's super powerful against red bars, and even some of your yellow bars that are a little bit tankier. Super, super good pulse rifle. Some legendaries, obviously at the end of the day, legendary weapons are going to be up to you to decide. These are just a couple that I'm going to have on standby, and I plan on using throughout the raid. Submission and Funnel Web for my SMGs. If I'm switching to Ikelos or Callus, you know, maybe, but Smite of Moraine, and the Battler for my pulse rifles. Battler is one of the most used weapons I have, and it works really, really well with the Starfire Protocol build. So yeah, definitely something I'm going to have on me. Perpetualis and Gnawing Hunger. Perpetualis and the Strand synergy, got to keep it going. Gnawing Hunger, Void synergy, obviously. Fatebringer is the only hand cannon I plan on taking in, and there's more than likely no reason I'm going to be using a hand cannon in this raid. Moving on to some special ammo, let's start with exotics again. Obviously, Izanagi's Burden and Arbalest and Witherhoard are the 3 at the top of the list. These are definitely some of the best kinetic options, but also the best special ammo options for increasing your damage overall in a scenario. Arbalest, especially for the longer fights that have more health on a boss or tankier targets in general. Aegir's Scepter, Cloud Strike, Fourth Horseman, and Dead Messenger are also all wonderful options that I would recommend keeping an eye out for, because I think they're going to work really, really well in the day 1 scenarios that we've been preparing for up till this point. Once again, legendaries, at the end of the day, it's your call. I'm bringing Riptide as a fusion rifle, Pardon Our Dust for a blinding GL, Heritage and First and Last Out for 2 slug shotguns. I doubt we're going back to slug swapping, but maybe double slug Anarchy will be a thing, in which case I'm going to have these standby. Forbearance and Harsh Language are the 2 wave frames I'm taking in. Harsh Language is the new Void wave frame that dropped this season, and it is incredible. Highly recommend at least having a wave frame on your character because it's so effective at clearing ads. Cartesian Coordinate for increasing boss damage. This is definitely one of the best fusion rifles in the game you can get for boss damage, so I'd recommend having it ready. I also have Snorri FR5. This is really just to play in with volatile rounds. I have one with Stats for All and Reservoir Burst, and I absolutely love it, so for further ad clear, I might bust this thing out. As for our heavy ammo exotics, obviously you need only 1 G-Horn on the team. This is a must-have. Sleeper, it's pretty solid. Wardcliff, you never know. Maybe a boss will be read differently via the code. Wardcliff is insane. Thunderlord and Winterbite, but only if it's re-enabled. I know Two-Tailed Fox is pretty decent, but the more people you have on your team running it, the worse it becomes, so I don't recommend that. And there's a couple other exotics that people have tossed about, but I don't think are going to go anywhere in particular. As for our legendaries, Hothead and Chillclip Rockets, dude, insane. You already know it. I'm sure most of your teams already have these ready to go. Wendigo and Regnant, both of these are also insane. In case GLs are the move, both of these are very, very solid options. I'm taking Cataclysmic as my linear fusion rifle. I think it's still the best option for linear fusions, although linear fusions are no longer one of the best. But as far as ammo economy goes and total damage, it's still really, really good. And obviously you need an eager-edged sword for jump puzzles. The only thing I didn't mention on this is a single divinity, but once again, that's going to be team dependent, and oftentimes people are going to override that with a div, or not with a div, with a tether anyways, so keep that in mind as you play and really think about what you and your teammates are going to be doing. Anyways, that is all I have for the loadouts and weapons that me and my team will be taking into the raid tomorrow. Once again, go check us out over on Twitch. I'll be streaming until we get that completion, fingers crossed. And I will catch you guys in the next stream and or YouTube video. Get back to grinding, you crazy guardians.